I see my name in shining lights. Yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
It's time to get down to business on the weekend's #1 business program. Known as the King of Networking, your host, Shalom Klein, has worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and created countless jobs. So, to success, let's get down to business.
And indeed, we are all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship and business. We talk a lot about business here. You are on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. While you are there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information you will not want to miss. That's right. We are going to jump right into our fantastic conversations about business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. We're going to kick it off with Dave Van BusKirk, who is a financial advisor and former 10-year regional leader with Edward Jones Investment in Irving, Texas, just outside of Dallas. For the past 20 years, he's learned a thing or two about relationships. He's been a financial advisor with his company for 20 years, been married for 20 years, and has had some of those clients for 20 years. So, wow, a lot has happened in that period of time. Dave, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Shalom, very much for having me today.
Absolutely, a pleasure. So 20 is sort of your lucky number at the moment, and it's you just got to keep that progression in all of those areas, personally, professionally, relationships across the board. So that's clearly working out for you. So again, thanks for joining us. So you got started in business. You've been involved in a bunch of different areas, but you've caught the entrepreneurial bug, not only yourself, but in helping fellow entrepreneurs. How did you get started in business?
Well, I don't remember the exact day that it was, but I know I was 13 years old, and I do remember exactly where it was. It was 88 Southside Drive in Owego, New York, in upstate New York. That was my grandparents' house. My grandparents were talking about my grandfather's work. He worked at IBM for his whole career. And they talked about their IBM stock that they were saving. And I asked my grandmother if she would teach me a little bit about that. And she sat me down. I think my grandfather went in to watch the Mets game. That's what he normally did. But she sat me down at her kitchen table and showed me what they had done over the years that he was working at IBM. They took advantage of being able to buy stock through the company. And she showed me the power of saving a little bit every month, what that can accumulate to, the power of compound interest, the eighth wonder of the world, and staying with investing in good quality investments. So I became interested at that time. I went to undergrad at Villanova University. I majored in finance, wasn't quite confident enough to go ahead and become an entrepreneur right out of school. So I went the corporate finance route. But all along the way, I continued to study everything I could about being a financial advisor. I did my MBA at Elon University. And soon after, I was still in corporate finance, but then I ended up moving to the Dallas area, met my wife here, and jumped on with Edward Jones, and it's been the best thing that's ever happened to us.
You had a really good year 20 years ago. But over the past 20 years, you've likely hit some roadblocks, some stressful times. May not have all been as good as that 20-year mark when you met your wife, started in business, and so on. So, what are some of the challenges? We like to talk a lot about successes, but I think as we educate and inform our entrepreneurial audience, what are some of the challenges that you've overcome, and how did you get through it?
Yeah, absolutely. And when we talk about challenges, it doesn't mean it has to be necessarily things that are quite severe, but all of us have those. But it might just be a challenge that you're having currently with just a lack of confidence, or it might just be a stressful time. But over the past 20 years, of course, we've had the different setbacks in the economy. Personally, There was just a few years ago, my daughter was really sick, and she had these terrible migraines, and she was just finishing up high school, and we couldn't get to the bottom of them, and she spent a long time in the hospital. That was the biggest one that was recent. And at the same time, two of my team members went on to become financial advisors, which is just wonderful. And then a couple knee surgeries recently, and then my dad passed away just this past January. And through it, though, we've put some things into place over the years that we've learned that have really helped us out.
Well, Dave, you've mentioned relationships. You mentioned again your relationships with your customers. Obviously, I know family is very, very important to you. I know you have 3 children. So you rely on relationships to get through, frankly, times like this, where we're living in unprecedented times. So what advice would you share with our listeners in using relationships to sort of overcome challenges? Tell us a little bit about that.
So there's really 3 things that the entrepreneurs listening today can, or anyone can really do to put into place that we have found very helpful. And these are things that I've learned from family members, mentors, friends, a lot from coaches, though. We've worked with a lot of coaches over the years, and there's a common theme among what a lot of the coaches teach. But these 3 things, what they can do is build confidence, build trust, and deepen relationships, and also lead to serving more clients through your business. The first one is to spend some time thinking of 3 people that you're grateful for, and that you dealt with recently, or maybe dealt with in the past, and also 3 people that you're going to be grateful for because you know you're going to be talking to them tomorrow. This is incredible for boosting your confidence. We've all done so much, and we are always, entrepreneurs have a tendency to look forward too much instead of looking back and recognizing the successes. And with those successes, it always comes with relationships and people that mean the most to us.
Indeed. So you've given a lot of advice. You've talked a lot about your entrepreneurial journey. Again, I've been chatting with Dave Van BusKirk, who has been a financial advisor and an entrepreneur. And might I add, a bit of a relationship expert over here. Clearly, you've done all of those things in tandem over the past 20 years. So what are some of them? You just sort of alluded to some of the things that you would recommend our listeners implement. But it's we're having this conversation Sunday night. What can people put into practice this week in their business or in their life that can make a big difference?
Okay, so 2 things. Number one, it might be difficult to think about writing down 3 things in the morning, 3 things at night, and recognizing what you're grateful for. But just try to do 1 tomorrow and see what happens. If you like it, do it again. But also, I would say maybe more importantly, and this is what people need more than ever right now, especially with everything that we've been through with COVID-19, people are missing connections. And if you can slow down and just be a little more present with people and be more interested instead of trying to be interesting, a lot of businesses don't do that. And we think of different interactions that we have with businesses that we deal with. And it goes such a long way. And in that being present is to show appreciation and express it and tell clients how thankful you are for the relationship that you have with them. It leads to so much goodwill, deeper relationships. And when people have that kind of an experience, they tell people about you.
That's great. Well, Dave, we've covered a lot, and I'm marking my calendar for 2051. We're gonna bring you and your wife on, celebrate your 50-year anniversary and 50 years in business. So how can people get a hold of you if they want to learn more about your work?
Thank you. There's the best way would be to simply go to edwardjones.com, type in, or if you Google edwardjones.com, Dave Van BusKirk, my page comes up, our email is there, and our phone number. That'd be the easiest way to get to us.
Fantastic. Well, Dave, you've shared a lot and appreciate your guidance, expertise, and I look forward to bringing you back on the program real soon. Again, Dave Van BusKirk, financial advisor, former 10-year regional leader with Edward Jones Investment in Irving, Texas, and lots of great entrepreneurial advice. Dave, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And we are going to squeeze in a quick break here on Get Down to Business, the show all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. Get on my website, shalomklein.com, where you can download podcasts from the past 7+ years. After the break, we will be joined by yet another entrepreneurial leader. And I encourage you, get on your favorite podcast app, because not only do we air this program on AM 560, you can also download all of those shows from your favorite podcast app, as well as my other podcast called We All Serve, where I interview military leaders. And be sure to check out our sponsors and friends of the program, ChicagoSignatureLimo.com and HealthPlanChicago.com. That's with Tom Mirabali. So again, quick break, more Get Down to Business when we return.